The other day I harvested dandelion greens and nettles, and people wanted me to show them how I use it in my veggie mix. So not only do I make my own dog food, I do make a veggie mix for my dogs sometimes. This is a really great thing to do if you're short on budget and you have access to great vegetables. You can do it in your own garden, or you can pick up these vegetables for affordably at the grocery store. I spent $50 on all of this, and I had 12 jars of my veggie mix, which will last me through the summer. So the vegetables that I use are vegetables that are just healthy for dogs. I do this for fiber, antioxidants, and then additional nutrients. I'm not trying to balance my dog's diet. It's just adding more nutrients and a healthy thing to their diet. So this is great for raw fed dogs, but you can also make this for your dogs if you feed kibble, freeze dried, dehydrated, whatever. This is going to be good for all of your dogs. And what's lovely is that you can shake up the vegetables and add what you feel comfortable adding, what's available to you, what's affordable to you. You do not have to follow my particular recipe. This is just what I do. I don't do the exact same recipes each time, but there are a few vegetables that I do not add. So far I have done zucchini, squash, okra, carrots. This is collard greens right there. I also have cabbage, bok choy, and kale in this diet. I add the colorful vegetables to add a little bit of sweetness to it. The bok choy that I'm doing is baby bok choy, which is sweeter than adult bok choy. And so this sweetness is going to offset the bitterness of the dandelion greens and the nettles, as well as the kale. This is the baby bok choy. So you can get all of this very affordably. And again, you can add whatever you want to add to your dog's veggie mix. I do these because I know that my dogs do well on this, and I know that my dogs like this blend of vegetables. You might have noticed earlier I was also adding shiitake mushrooms, which are great for the immune system, great for cognitive health, and they have a lot of other benefits, including cancer fighting benefits. And so I always like to add that to my dog's diet when I can. I do it in my bone broth, but I also add it to my veggie mix. This all took me about an hour to do, from start to finish. Yes, I do add garlic to my dog's diet. I know a lot of people are freaked out about garlic because they think that it's toxic to dogs. This is not the case. The study that came out that showed that was using such a high amount of garlic, no one would logically do that. So when I was adding garlic, I want to get all of the skin off, which is such a pain in the neck. I never knew. You do not want to get like ground up garlic that's in those little jars. You want to get fresh garlic. And then what I do is I just pull the skin off, mash it up, and throw it into the blender. Garlic is great for the immune system. It turns our dogs into flea and tick repellents. The only thing that you should know is I would never give garlic to a puppy that's 3 months or older. I would never give it to a pregnant dog, and I would never give it to a dog with an anemic condition like hemangiosarcoma. So these are the nettles and a little bit of dandelion greens. And what I'm doing is just I dry them out for a few days, so I'm taking the string off. And right here with the flowers, I'm taking the dandelion petals and putting it in the bowl because that little green part, that's pretty bitter. So I'm using MCT oil to saute the shiitake mushrooms. In order to get the medicinal benefits out of the mushrooms, you do need to cook them. And so I just basically put oil in them and saute them and let them steam while I'm doing everything else. I'm also adding my own bone broth. This is a turmeric bone broth that I'm adding to my veggie mix. Technically, I would have usually liked to add 2 jars of the bone broth given how much veggie mix I have, but I only had 1 jar thawed out. Now adding in the mushrooms, mix everything up, and then start transferring everything into a jar. It's crazy easy to do this. This is such a healthy food for my dogs, and they enjoy it. They have no problem with it. And I'll show you how I add it to their meals and how much. It doesn't take a whole lot, and each jar will last about a week or so. But I will keep them in the freezer until I need them. So 12 32-ounce jars were made for $50. So pretty good, right? And when I'm feeding my dogs, I just add a spoonful to the bowl. Sometimes I add it on the side. Sometimes I mix it into their food. Actually, most times I mix it into their food. And right here, I'm adding a little extra because this is Zoe's bowl and she's on a diet. So adding this additional source of fiber to her bowl will help her feel a little fuller. so that she can lose those extra pounds. This is, again, such a healthy treat for dogs and easy to make. If you have any questions, feel free to add in the comments below. You can find more information about how I feed my dogs and all my recipes at keepthetailwagging.com and in my new book, Raw Feeding from A to Z, available on Amazon.